What's up, guys? KAMIKAZE-FOX coming to you from IRL, International Racing League, Season 3 of F2 Racing. And we are getting ready to do round 3 here at Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona, España. Round 3 here at Spain. And we are going to delay by just a couple of minutes. But while we do that, let's run down the driver lineup for today. IRL Neon is Jared Fosbury, your former F2 champion. Ryan 55X is Ryan Huren, I believe is how you say his last name. He is rocking the Williams. G Russell 89. I still need to get clarification on his name, which I do think I might have now. He's going to be in the McLaren. T Jonas is a very hard name to pronounce. Halvor Trovient, and I'm not sure if that's even correct, but Halvor. And what is going on with my stuff? Having some technical difficulties here. Here we go. Nope, that's not what I need. Sorry, guys. Man, I had information on all these drivers earlier today, and now I can't find it. Mostly my fault. I'm not good with technology. Aha, here we go. Aha! Found it! Anyways, T Jonas, let's move on. I'll get back to G Russell here in a second. Looks like G Russell. That is Diego Valesco. Here we go. Now we're cooking. Thomas Mumford in the Toro Rosso, Andre Yamil in the Haas, Bjorn Langfeld in the Mercedes, Luis Wassman in the Racing Point, LR Harry is Harry Cooper in the Alfa Romeo, Canville Hoon, coming off of a great round last time out, is in the other Racing Point. Dan Thompson is in the Red Bull, Kevin Harrison, your defending F2 champion, in the Alfa Romeo once again, Paco Suarez in the Renault, teammates with Jared Fosbury. Sean O'Sullivan is in the Red Bull Racing. Sam Thompson in the Ferrari. And YWR STRMM, who had an abysmal race last time out. That is Joachim Stormgran from Norway. That is a heck of a name you got there, fella. So we're just going to call him Storm. I guess that's the STRMM. Maxi16. Now, I'm familiar with Maxi as far as the HTARL. He actually raced yesterday in Hockenheim. But I need to figure out. That is Max Wilcox. And then Luxmark is Joe Hollis, who's a F2 driver from years past. So that's going to round out, looks like, most of the drivers for today. So sorry for the technical difficulties. Trying to get situated here, so I apologize about that. And we're going to recap last week's round in just a moment here. Got a few guys joining in on the live chat. So we've got JSG247, NZL Cam, Speed Cooper, I'm assuming that's Harry Cooper, Helen Govey, yo, woo, ho Harry. And Brandon's like, it's not Season 3. It's Season 3 of F2 Racing, Brandon, even though it is the 7th season of IRL. So, however you want to clarify that in the stream is up to you, but F2's only been racing for, this is now the 3rd season. IRL itself is in its 7th year of inception. And then we've got CPL Lewis and Helen Covey, obviously all in the live chat. And we've got Luke Baker from F3 chiming in on the live chat. F3 having their race at the same time. So waiting a couple more minutes for everybody to get situated here. So, again, I apologize about the technical difficulties. But let's recap round 2, which was pretty exciting last week at Bahrain. Ken Vilhoen came home with the first pole position of his career in F2. Kevin Harrison walked away with the win, while Ken Vilhoen did finish second. T. Jonas was third. Shea Fox came home fourth. Ryan Horen is fifth. Paco Suarez fought hard for a sixth-place finish, had wing damage for most of the second part of the race. Andre Yamil was seventh. Dan Thompson was eighth. Bjorn Langfeld was ninth. And Jack Mia was 10th. That was your top 10 points-paying positions. Joe Hollis was 11th. Thomas Mumford was 12th. And Diego was 13th. Storm came home 14th, and he was the last car running on track. From 15th to 20th, they were all DNFs. Max Wilcox, Ronan Lakely, Sam Thompson, Sean O'Sullivan, Jared Fosbury, and Harry Cooper, all with DNFs. And yes, Luis Wassman pointing out that the team at Racing Point has a 100% pole percentage so far this year. Round 1, Luis Wassman walked away with the pole position, even though T. Jonas walked away with the win. And then last week, obviously, Ken Vilhoen walked away with the pole, but Kevin Harrison had the win. So, in both cases, the Racing Points have finished on the pole position at qualifying, but neither one of them been able to walk away with the win. Luis Wassman finished third in round 1 at Australia, and then Ken Vilhoen finishing second. So, but in the team championship standings, Racing Point clearly ahead of the rest, even if it's not by much. So thanks for pointing that out to Luis Rossman. And TNR Jonas Bogan is cheering on T. Jonas. That is Halvor Troviant, and I'm not sure that's even how you say his name, and I don't want to brutalize it this whole race. So T. Jonas it is. So, and a couple other news and notes. I mean, last week I had Lewis Marshall in the booth with me. He's going to be an F1 driver for International Racing League. We had Jared Fosbury with us in the booth for a little while as well, coming off of another DNF. So that's 2 for 2 this year. 2 races, 2 DNFs for Jared Fosbury. He said last week that if he crashes out again, that he is going to retire for the season and work on his racecraft. And that's some strong words from a former F2 champion. He won the inaugural F2 season and finished second last year in the points. It might not have been second. It was in the top 3 for points for sure. But again, very strong driver and some strong words coming from somebody of his caliber. So hate to see him leave. We're going to wish him the best of luck today, as we certainly look forward to this great race that we're about to have. We're going to have an 18-minute short qualifying session, followed by a 50% race. We'll see if Racing Point can keep their 100% pole percentage going into this race. And as we look back last year at this race, obviously the grid was very different last year than it is this year. Kevin Harrison had won last year's race. It was his second win of the season. Daniel Tanberg, who got banned last year after the round at Suzuka, he did come home with his first pole position of the season last year at round 8 for Spain. Jared Fosbury picked up his 5th podium here last season as well at Circuit de Catalunya. So good track for Kevin Harrison and Jared Fosbury. Hopefully they'll be able to put on a good show today. Obviously, Jared Fosbury needing to finish a race to get some points on the board in what has been a short season. This is again, 3rd season for F2. It is the 7th season overall for International Racing League. But really need to get some points on the board. And it's not a full schedule this year for Season 3 or Season 7, if you will. It's been reduced from 21 races to 14 races as we prepare for the F1 2020 game to be coming out supposedly in August. Not sure if that's going to get held up in the current condition of the world with everything going on with the pandemic. But we'll see what happens in IRL. I mean, if they can't do it on 2020, they'll do another one on F1 2019, I'm sure. I've heard various rumors about the game. It's going to be delayed, or they might do an update for F1 2019 with the 2020 cars. Lots of rumors swirling around what's going to happen with Codemasters and the 2020 game, as everything's been held up for Formula One, and even Formula One has postponed their inception of the 2021 cars, which everybody's been looking forward to even possibly as late as 2023 before they use the new rules and regulations. So that would be a bit of a disappointment for sure. I think we would all like to see the new cars and new rules and regulations. Unless you're a Mercedes fan, you probably would like things to stay the same, but for the rest of us in the world, F1's become a little stale for the last 10 years, it seems. I think the last good year for real Formula One racing was 2008. Since 09, everything's been pretty mundane. I mean, 09 was a pretty exceptional year as far as the Brawn team winning the championship, but beyond that, Red Bull won 4 in a row, Mercedes has won everything since. It's just, you get tired of seeing the same people win. So we finally got some cars hitting on track here. A lot of guys already on their out laps. We'll get the tire information up on display since that seems to be keen for everybody except me. We'll get the lap data up and going. We're going to get the track map up and going per the request of the admin. So here is all your info for you drivers. And Helen Govey is doing a dab on the live stream. So it looks like everybody's out on their out laps. First one coming across the line looks like it might be a Mercedes. And P5C Kelvin. I am not 100% sure who that is. That might have been the one driver that we were waiting on. Let's see if I can figure that out here. That is Nelson Santos. From Portugal. Kelvin literally has nothing to do with his actual name. So we will try and keep tabs on that. In a full grid today, 20 cars on track, and that is going to make for the third round in a row that we've had a full grid here in F2, and that is some really exciting news as I see a lot of other leagues that I actually even commentate for struggle to meet the full grid requirement. So 20 cars on track today. And it looks like Thomas Mumford is the first car across the line in the Toro Rosso with a 1:26.56. First driver to set a time. Looks like Jared Fosbury comes across the line second, 1:21.78. Looks like his teammate might be getting ready to cross the line as well. It was Joe Hollis, 1:19.736, and then Bjorn Langfell with a 1:18.794, and then there's Diego, 1:19.556. Guys coming across the line one after another. Luis Wassman, fifth quickest, 1:19.952. Hollis does come across the line, and Canville Hoon, 1:19.238 on the hard tires. So you see the times being set there, most of them on the hard tires as of now. So interesting strategy there. Now the hard tires in qualifying, probably just to set a banker lap, get a time on the board in case something happens later in the session. You see Bjorn Langfell is 1:18.794, is the only driver to break into the 1:18 so far, and he did it on the soft tires. Ryan Herren had come across the line in the Williams with a 1:19.357. And Paco Suarez did cross the line at a 1:26.127, slowest so far. I'm assuming that he got held up in traffic a little bit, obviously way off the pace. Sam Thompson did set a time, 1:29.82, good enough for 10th quickest so far. And Jamie, 29.05. Just trying to get, oh, that's Jamie Griffiths. Why does that name sound familiar? I don't know if that was IRL. Could have been the Garage Racing League. Hard for me to remember. I deal with a lot of leagues, but Jamie Griffiths. So I just want to try and get my notes going here. Paco Suarez is back in the pits. Andre Yamil sets a time, 1:51.522, clearly getting held up in traffic. Kevin Harrison we're going to pick up. And I also want to make note here that the league did make an announcement going into this race. It's a very similar one that they made last year, but turn 15, you can cut the corner at turn 15 relatively easily and not get a warning or a time penalty for it. And because of that, they will be watching very closely today and this weekend as the drivers set their times. If anybody's cut that chicane, they will be given a post-race penalty because the game is not giving it to you in-game. They're not handing out in-game penalties at turn 15. So a lot of these drivers need to keep keen on that. As we pick up Ryan Horan, he's going to run 2 laps on the hard tires, 1:19.357, good enough for third quickest so far. I'm just making a couple of notes here. Make sure I've got all my eggs in my basket. So unfortunately, no Shea Fox this weekend. Crowd favorite of mine. He's been absent. He was absent yesterday at the HTARL. That's Hit the Apex Racing League. I also commentate for them as well. Actually, a lot of drivers doing both leagues now, doing some double duty between HTA and IRL. So that's always good to see as well. Andre Yamil actually came over from GTR, which was a startup league. And Diego, just as I was writing his name down, has crashed out. Sector 1, 2, and 3 all have yellow flags now. And he is done for the day. So his time will be locked in at 1:19.556 set on the medium tires. It's good enough for 7th so far. But I don't think he'll be able to retain that position as the times are going to start to drop. As we see a lot of these guys switching over to the medium tires, and still Bjorn Langfeld set his time on a 1:18.794. Looks like he's going back out on an out lap. So Diego Valesco done for the day as far as qualifying is concerned. And I just want to make one more quick note as I try to keep up with everything going on the track. And we'll get back to the live stream here. And Jonas Bogan on the live chat says, T. Jonas will not take pole, but his race pace is insane. And I think he's proven that the last couple of rounds, finishing third last time out, and he took home the maiden win for the season in round 1 at Australia. Going to pick up Canville Hoon, though, last week's pole sitter, and finishing in second in the runner-up position. He's currently 4th quickest. Now he's out on the medium tires, and he's gone fastest in Sector 1 so far. Coming up on a little bit of traffic. Looks like that might be Kevin Harrison. He's going around right there. And it's crazy to think that just a month ago, and this is how crazy the world has been, but just a month ago, Formula One was doing their preseason testing at Catalunya, and looks like Vilhoen's just gone purple in Sector 2. And it's hard to believe that a month later that the Formula One season is pretty much all but stalled, and we're not looking at a race until sometime after May, which is really, really unfortunate. While I'm talking about that, Bjorn Langfeld's just gone 1:18.138. He's 9/10 of a second quicker than second place Ryan Horan, who's going 1:19 flat. And here comes Ken Vilhoen, and he's going to jump to a 1:18.177, and that is on the medium tires. So only about half a tenth separating first and second place right now. And T. Jonas, 1:19.202. We're currently riding along with him. Jonas out on the hard tires. I think I might have gotten my Mercedes mixed up a little bit earlier in this qualifying session. Yellow flag Sector 1. Probably for a slow car coming on a cool-down lap. And T. Jonas is going to dive into the pits. So we're still waiting on a time to be set by defending F2 champion Kevin Harrison, currently out on the hard tires. He ran an exceptional race last time out to walk away with the win. And there's Halvor on the live chat, laughing at his buddy Bogan. So Kevin Harrison getting ready to come across the line, I believe, to set his first time of the qualifying session. About 7 minutes left to play. Here comes Kevin Harrison. See what kind of time he can set. 1:19.508 on the hard tires. Good enough for 9th so far. That's going to drop Diego down to 10th. And Harry Cooper has come across the line at a 1:29.079. Now, I'm sure he got held up in traffic. Harry Cooper's definitely got some good pace. He raced in the HTA IRL race yesterday at Hockenheim. He had a good run going. Then he ran into some internet issues. He fell through the field a little bit. He was battling up front for a little while. He was very fast in the Mercedes yesterday. He ran with McLaren last year. About halfway through the season, he decided to call it quits for the remainder of the season after he received a pretty harsh penalty after one of the races. It was a bit of a disagreement between him and the admins, but he's back this year in the Alfa Romeo. So teammates with Kevin Harrison. You hear him downshifting really hard and high into that rev range. Let's see if Cooper can improve his time. And this looks like to be a much better lap. 1:19.083 on the hard tires, good enough for 4th quickest. That is a good lap by Harry Cooper. And that leaves just Dan Thompson, the only driver to set a time. And Dan Thompson, from what I've watched him in HTA and IRL now a couple of weeks, and he likes to sit in the pits and usually goes out with only a couple of minutes remaining, usually goes out on an outlap, sets a time, and he's usually well up in the running order. So Dan Thompson, a very fast driver, yet to set a time, and we look forward to that here in the next few minutes. I'm sure he'll be coming out on track. Less than 5 minutes left to play in the session. And Ryan Herrera, we pick him up, but his time's been invalidated. Give a shout out to Joe Hollis, 4th quickest so far with a 1:18.633. That's a good qualifying effort for him. And Vilhoen is in the pits. A lot of these drivers still in the pits. See if Hollis can improve his time. Looks like he's on a pretty fresh set of mediums there. They got a slow car in Sector 2. Now that is going to be Harry Cooper, and looks like Hollis is going to let one of the McLarens go by. That was Jamie Griffiths as he went by him on the backstretch. You see, you just saw off to the left there Harry Cooper getting out of the way. So we pick up Jamie Griffiths, who's currently 7th quickest so far with a 1:19.137. And he is going to dive into the pits, and so is Joe Hollis. So a lot of guys in the pits right now. We're going to pick up Nelson Santos in the Toro Rosso. Good enough for 18th so far. 1:21.198 on the mediums to see if he can improve his time, his position. He's on a timed lap right now. He's about the only driver on track right now on a timed lap. Lift's coming up the hill. DRS slot open as he heads down this short backstretch. And look at that, Ryan Herrera just came across the line, a 1:17.839. And Joe Hollis is just retired from the session. His time will be locked in at a 1:18.633. And a 1:17.8 for Ryan Herrera out of nowhere. Meanwhile, Nelson Santos did come across the line to improve his position to 14th, a 1:19.987. And looks like Max has retired from the session. He was 9th quickest. His time will be locked in at a 1:19.178. So less than 2 minutes to play. We're going to have a swarm of cars on their out laps. Here comes Ken Vilhoun. He's coming out on his out lap. Coming out of the pits now. He's to see if he's got anything for that pole position. Want to keep racing points, pole position percentage at 100% if he can. So that is Ken Vilhoun. His teammate, Luis Wassman, well down in the running order. He's coming out of the pits now. He's down in 16th spot, 1:19.952. We'll pick up Jared Fosbury. Fosbury's coming around. Looks like he's on his going to be what is going to be his last hot lap. And Ryan Herren just retired from the session at a 1:17.8. He's locked into first place. Nelson Santos has retired from the session as well. So a lot of these guys are saying their times are good enough. Ryan Herren with a 1:17.8 called it a day. That's 3 laps on medium tires. Sets the fastest time. He's the only driver in the 1:17s. He's got provisional pole, but we're watching Jared Fosbury, your one-time F2 champion, seeing if he can improve on his time and maybe snatch pole position. Down the backstretch. Runs a little wide there. He left the left side tires off onto the curbing a little too long. That probably cost him a little bit of time. He's a half second up almost on his previous time. That'll definitely drop him into the 1:18s. Right now that might make it good enough for 4th or 5th spot on the grid. And now you see Jamie Griffith's time is locked in at a 1:19.1. Sam Thompson at a 1:19.1. And Bjorn Langfell is locked in at a 1:18.1 as well, so he will not be able to make a last-ditch effort. Here comes Jared Fosbury, 1:18.112, good enough for 2nd spot. He made up a lot of time in Sector 3. We're going to pick up Ken Vilhoun, one of the 2 racing points. Oh, no, and he blows that corner coming out of there, and that is going to ruin his time. You see if he's going to stick with it. He looks like he's got the throttle down still. And Langfell says he damaged his front wing on his out lap, and it was his last attempt, so he called it a day. So his time's going to be locked in at 1:18.138, good enough for 3rd. We're watching Ken Vilhoun see if he's got anything to try and keep racing point at 100% pole wins. But he blew that corner going to the top of the hill. And he's going to come across the line, and he's going to change his pit strategy there. Oh, and we just missed Luis Wassman's time. Unfortunately, don't know what he got. But it looks like Racing Point is not going to have pole position. We'll see what we've come up here with. Oh, and Luis Wassman does snatch it at the last minute. Sorry I missed it. I was trying to catch him after Ken Vilhoun. Wassman was on hot lap. So Luis Wassman is pole winner, and that is 3 in a row for Racing Point. 1:17.724. Barely beats out Ryan Herren. Jared Fosbury is 3rd. Bjorn Langfell is 4th. Ken Vilhoun is 5th. Andre Yamil, who we didn't talk a whole lot about, is 6th. Paco Suarez is 7th. Harry Cooper 8th. T. Jonas 9th. Joe Hollis is 10th. Sean O'Sullivan is 11th. Thomas Mumford 12th. Jamie Griffiths is 13th. Maxie is 14th. Sam Thompson 15th. Kevin Harrison all the way down in 16th spot. And that is not unusual for Kevin Harrison. He has got a knack for starting very deep in the field and running an alternate pit strategy and working his way towards the front. And Jared Fosbury happy that he's top 3. Dan Thompson saying his setup is awful. He's got no grip whatsoever. So, great run by Luis Wassman to snatch that pole position at the last second. I'm sorry I missed it, but hopefully I won't miss anything in the race. Chances are I probably will. I'm one guy, and it's hard to keep up with 20 cars on track, especially on the opening couple of laps. And Helen Govey still with us on the live chat. She was cheering on Harry Cooper during the qualifying session. So we'll get ready for the formation lap here. Luis Wassman, your pole sitter, and that is 3 in a row for Racing Point. It is Wassman's second pole position of the season. He'll be looking to try and stay out in front and see if he can finally get Racing Point to the top of the podium and walk away with a win. Ryan Horan is starting in second. He came home 5th last time out. He's still looking for his first podium finish of the year. And Jared Fosbury starting in 3rd. It's his best starting spot of the season. He's going to be looking to try and finish the race. A podium would definitely be capital for him, as he's got 2 DNFs in 2 races so far this season. Bjorn Langfeld starting in the 4th spot. He came home 9th last time out. He'll be looking to try and improve upon that. And Ken Vilhoun, who finished 2nd, he's going to try and work his way back to the podium again for Racing Point, as they look to be the strongest team so far this year. Andre Yamil starting in the 6th spot. See if he can work his way through the field a little bit and snatch a podium away. And Paco Suarez starting in the 7th spot. He finished 6th last time out. He came off a really tough season last year. So far, he's looking pretty good. See if he can get to the front and help out his teammate, Jared Fosbury. Harry Cooper is starting in the 8th spot in the Alfa Romeo. He's definitely got the pace to work his way through the field, maybe see if he can snatch a podium position and be a spoiler for some of these front runners. T. Jonas, who has 1 win so far this year and a 3rd place spot, he's going to be trying to keep that podium finish alive. See if he can get a 3 for 3. Joe Hollis starting in the 10th spot, going to be looking to put some points on the board today. And Sean O'Sullivan starting in the 11th, followed by Thomas Mumford. Jamie Griffiths, who had a rough qualifying session, starting deep in the field in 13th, to be looking to try and work his way into the points. Maxey starting deep as well, 14th. He's got pace. We'll see if he can put some points on the board as well. Sam Thompson in the Ferrari starting in 15th. Your defending F2 champion, Kevin Harrison. We just talked about how he's got a knack for working his way through the field. I don't have any qualms or problems with him doing that. He's going to run that alternate pitch strategy. I bet he does it again today to put points on the board. And Diego Valesco starting in the 17th spot. See if he can work his way into the points. We've got Nelson Santos. And we've got Storm starting in the 19th spot, and then Dan Thompson, who struggled in qualifying, starting very deep in the field. Now, he's got a lot of speed. He's a very quick driver. See if he can I get a good, there we go. We wait for the 5 red lights. Lights are out, time to run what you've brung. Ryan Horan and everybody away in a puff of smoke, and we've got one of the Racing Points. That's Canville deep in the field, and a great start by Bjorn Langfeld. He's going to try and go to the inside, and he's going to get one position. Oh, but he gets tapped by Fosbury, and he goes around. And there's a bit of a melee in the back now. Got guys dropping through the field. And Diego Valesco all the way back in the 20th spot along with Bjorn Langfeld. And look at this, Dan Thompson, the big winner in that melee, started 20th, works his way up to 8th in a handful of corners. And now the race is on as things get settled a little bit, and we've got Diego going around Storm. Looks like Storm's off the pace. He's into the grass, he's into the gravel. And Storm is going to be well off the pace at this point. Looks like Andre Yamil just lost the spot. We've got a battle going on for the 3rd spot. Ryan Horan and Ken Vilhoun. And here comes Horan. Oh, and he gives him a little bit of a touch coming through that corner. And we've got ourselves a big battle here. This is 4th, 5th, 6th. I'm sorry, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. And then you see Luis Wassman and Jared Fosbury. And here comes Sean O'Sullivan. He's had a great start as well. And he's going to dive to the outside. Horan's going to make life hard for him, take that defensive line away. And it looks like he made the move heading into the corner. Horan's going to lose out on another spot. Sean O'Sullivan up to 4th. And here comes Jamie Griffiths, who also started deep in the field, working his way up into 6th already. Paco Suarez just lost the spot. He's side by side with Joe Hollis. Hollis to the inside, and that's very tight racing there. Suarez is going to have the more preferred line heading into this downhill left-hander. Hollis hanging tough on the outside. He's going to get a little bit of a nudge, and now Suarez has got some end plate damage. He's lost the end plate on the right front of the wing. And he's going to suffer with that loss of downforce, especially on some of these fast corners here, especially heading up here to the right-hander. He's going to push wide. We got bits and pieces flying off. Looks like Hollis lost a little bit of wing. There's a car in the grass. And they're side-by-side heading through that very slow left-hander. Look at this gaggle of cars here. Oh, no, and Hollis gets hit. He's in the grass again. He's going to lose a couple of spots. That's Kevin Harrison going around. And Canville, who just ran the fastest lap of the race, and now Storm is going to be giving, not Sam Thompson, giving Hollis a hard time. And Hollis still struggling. Thompson's all over his gearbox. Kevin Harrison moving up. Gets in front of Langfeld, and now Paco Suarez gets a 5-second speeding penalty, diving into the pit lane. So Kevin Harrison has worked his way into the 11th spot. Let's go back to the front here. This is Luis Wassman. He's got a 1.7-second lead over Jared Fosbury. Fosbury is getting some pressure now from Canville Hoon, who just ran the fastest lap of this race. Ryan Horan trying to put some pressure on the Red Bull of Sean O'Sullivan, and the DRS is now enabled here on lap 3. See Jamie Griffiths now, and look, Dan Thompson all the way up to 7th spot. So for somebody who was complaining in qualifying that he had no grip with his setup, starting to the 20th spot, has very strategically made his way through the many melees that have happened on track already to the 7th spot. Good run by him. We pick up Canville Hoon because he's going to be close enough to Jared Fosbury to possibly make a move heading down into turn 1 with that DRS advantage. We hop on board. He's got the DRS slot open, and he's coming with a head of steam. Fosbury's going to hold his line. And to the inside goes Canville Hoon, and we've got ourselves a Racing Point 1-2 as Luis Wassman leads the way. Canville Hoon running the fastest lap of the race. And Jamie Griffiths just went around Ryan Horan. Looks like Horan's lost some pace. And Griffiths trying to go around the outside of this sweeping right-hander. He's going to have the more preferred line heading into this next corner, and they get very close to touching. And they're side by side. This is not going to work heading up here. Horan shutting the door on Jamie Griffiths. And we've got basically a 4-car battle here. Horan dives out of line, thinks about it. So we've got Sean O'Sullivan in the 4th spot. He's got Ryan Horan all over his gearbox. Jamie Griffiths is right behind him. And here comes Dan Thompson in the 7th spot. 4-car battle for 1 place. Everybody fighting for 4th right now. Meanwhile, Luis Wassman holds a 1.5-second lead over his teammate Canville Hoon. Jared Fosbury's lost a little bit of touch with that battle. He's going to have the DRS slot open. It's not going to be close enough, I don't think, to make a move on Can heading into the turn 1. And then you've got this 4-car train. We get a yellow flag, Sector 1. Or Sector 3, maybe I missed it. Must have been a quick on-off. Oh, yeah, so the tire information. Let me get the tire information up there for everybody. The 4-car battle continues on for this 1 spot. And it looks like Harry Cooper's making a move on... Oh, it looks like that was Joe Hollis that went into the pit. No, it was Storm that has gone into the pits. He's going to drop all the way back to the last spot. Harry Cooper struggling all the way back in 15th spot. He is about 20 seconds behind Sam Thompson, who is looking to make a move on Nelson Santos for the 13th spot. Meanwhile, we're going to go back to this battle here, this 4-car battle for 4th spot. Oh, we got Jamie Griffiths in the grass there. And now Dan Thompson looking to make a move on him. And things really heating up for this 4th spot. Sean O'Sullivan doing a great job trying to hold 4 cars behind him. But here comes Ryan Horan. He's going to have the DRS advantage. He's very close. O'Sullivan's going to hold his line. Horan to the inside. They're side by side heading into turn 1. And Hered's easily going to be able to take that spot. O'Sullivan's going to lose out. And well, now we're going to see if Ryan Hered can start pulling away from this 4-car battle. And now Jamie Griffiths finds himself the meat in a Red Bull sandwich as he's got O'Sullivan in front of him and Dan Thompson behind him. And Luis Wassman still your leader here on lap 6 of this 33-lap event. And it does look like Ryan Hered is able to pull away just a little bit from O'Sullivan. So now we've got a 3-car battle for the 5th spot. Ooh, very close. Trying to get the power back down. And now, as we are talking, Ken Vilhoun is starting to cut into the lead of Luis Wassman. It was a 1.6 second gap. He's now got it down to 1.1, so he's just outside of DRS range. And Ryan Hered just ran the fastest lap of this race at a 1:21.748. So watch Jamie Griffiths try and close that gap heading into turn 1. He had the DRS advantage when he was too far back. O'Sullivan had a great run coming out of that last corner. A yellow flag in Sector 3. Looks like we've got one of the Ferraris off. That is possibly... Nope, that was not one of the Ferraris. Well, it is one of the Ferraris. Looks like it was Sam Thompson who had an off coming out of the last corner. So, meanwhile, back to this battle for the 5th spot. We continue to watch Jamie Griffiths trying to work his way around Sean O'Sullivan while Dan Thompson... And yellow flag Sector 3. Now that looks like that's one of the Ferraris again, and this one might be Storm. And it is. Looks like he's had an off. And Storm struggling with the car. Looks like he's struggling with rear end grip. He had a... despite finishing the race last time out, and Luis Wassman dives into the pits. So he's going to give up the lead and hand it over to Ken Vilhoun. Wassman's going to be the first driver to start making a pit stop under normal pit sequences. He ran 6 laps on the soft tires, so he's going to drop through the field. And here comes Griffiths looking to make a move on O'Sullivan headed into turn 1. And now they're side by side heading through the S's. O'Sullivan picks up a 3-second time penalty for going. Oh no, and Dan Thompson has crashed out. Unbelievable. It looks like he was trying to avoid the contact that was made, and we've got ourselves a safety car, and Luis Wassman, who just pitted for hard tires, is probably going to benefit greatly from this because a lot of drivers are going to dive into the pits, and Dan Thompson, who looks like he was trying to avoid what was going to be a calamity between Jamie Griffiths and his teammate Sean O'Sullivan. They both made contact. It looked like Thompson was going to try and avoid what could have been a possible crash between those two drivers, ended up putting the car into the wall himself. And that is unfortunate for Dan Thompson. He had a really good run going, started in the 20th spot, worked his way up into 7th. And the yellow flag is out for this. We're going to see a lot of drivers in the back part of the track. We've got Sam Thompson, Andre Yamil, Harry Cooper, Paco Suarez, all pitting and switching over to hard tires. And here we've got Storm with a drive-through penalty, speeding under the safety car. And that penalty cannot be served under the safety car conditions. So Storm is 20th and will probably remain there for a large part of the race. Actually, that's not fair to say. So here's my thoughts on Storm. Now, he did finish last race 14th. He was the last car remaining on track that was running. Everybody that finished behind him was a DNF. Storm had 15 seconds worth of penalties because of careless mistakes like he just made. So speeding under the safety car, we've already seen him struggling with grip. So Storm is, unfortunately, this is going to be the second week in a row. I'm afraid that he's going to be more of a moving roadblock than a competitor for points at this point. And I really think that he needs to rethink his racecraft. And I don't think he's ready for league racing, in my professional opinion. But that is not up for me to make that decision. But he's 27 seconds behind. Well, which is inconsequential. He'll start at the rear of the field, obviously, in 19th spot. So after all that has shuffled out, Cam Vilhoun was able to pit and come back out on hard tires. He retains the lead. Ryan Horan has worked his way into the second spot. Luis Wassman is in third. Jared Fosbury is now in fourth. T. Jonas is in fifth. And we see Nelson Santos picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. And again, careless mistakes being made under safety car conditions. If you're going to get a penalty, it should not be at slow speeds under safety car conditions. Sean O'Sullivan is in the 6th spot. Jamie Griffiths is now 7th. Maxey is up to 8th. Kevin Harrison, who we haven't talked a whole lot about, started deep in the field. He's now worked his way to the points. He's now 9th. Thomas Mumford is in 10th. Bjorn Langfell is in the 11th spot. Nelson Santos in 12th. And Diego Valesco running in 13th. Sam Thompson is 14th. Andre Gamil 15th. Joe Hollis, who struggled a little bit with contact earlier, is in the 16th spot. Harry Cooper all the way back in 17th spot. Paco Suarez behind him in 18th. And we did talk about Storm a little bit. He will be the last car on track. And looks like we'll probably do one more lap under the safety car as we wait for Storm to catch up to the rest of this pack. He is very far behind. And cuts that corner for no reason. No reason to cut that corner under safety car conditions. So, and it looks like Kevin Harrison has dived into the pits. And he switched over to a fresh set of hards. So obviously at this point, everybody is pretty much switched over to hard tires. Everybody's going to be looking to run those tires to the end. So the battle's not going to be so much about tire or pit strategy at this point. It's going to be more about flat-out race pace. And we've got some fast drivers deep in the field. Kevin Harrison, one of them in the 15th spot. Harry Cooper, we know, is very quick. He's going to be in 17th. Paco Suarez has shown flashes of speed in the past. He has suffered from some bad luck. He did have a podium finish last year and was a championship contender in Season 1 of F2. So a couple of drivers there that are very quick, very deep in the field. And it looks like O'Sullivan may have had an issue. He has dropped down to the 9th spot. I feel like he wasn't that far back. Still under caution, still waiting for Storm to catch up to the pack. And he is so far off the pace that we will probably do one more lap under the yellow as we wait for him to join up with the rest of the field. And he's diving into the pits. I don't know why. Switching over to another set of hard tires. And it looks like we've had an issue with somebody. Looks like that is Diego Velasquez and Sam Thompson in the Ferrari. And these guys have had a bit of an off under the safety car conditions. And now there's going to be a little bit of a dispute between these two. So Diego is now going to be in the 17th spot. Sam Thompson in the 18th spot. And race control. Safety car is going to be in this lap because hopefully, I would like to think, Storm will be in a, 10-second time penalty for exceeding the track limits under the safety car. Diego, 5-second penalty for a severe collision with Sam Thompson. So it looks like Diego was the cause of that crash. Storm finally catches up with the pack, and he is going to pass his teammate. Sam T picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, corner cutting. I don't know what these two are doing. Team Ferrari is looking a lot like Team Williams from last year. We are back to green flag racing. We're going to pick up the action up front. Ken Vilhoen, we've got cars fanning out behind him. Yellow flag, Sector 3, Sam T has retired from the race. How did he manage to do that? Looks like he was trying to get into the pit entrance and is crashed at Sector 3, the last corner of the track. So we've now got 2 cars out. Bjorn Langfeld falling through the field. Looks like he's had a bit of contact, and his left front wing is destroyed. So it looks like we've had some contact between us with yellow flag Sector 1 because of him. He gets the car turned around, back running. And we've got Luis Wassman getting some pressure from Jared Fosbury for the 3rd spot. And Canville Hoon out in front. And Joe Hollis has left the session. Now, Hollis is not retired, but his car is currently in the 13th spot, so it looks like he's maybe having internet issues, possibly a rage quit. We'll see if he joins back up in the session and retakes control of that car. Got a battle going on. This is Jamie Griffiths now. He's off into the gravel. I don't know if he had some help or not. You see Joe Hollis' car there right behind him is gone ghost. So Griffiths falls through the field. And Sam T has officially left the session. And Harry Cooper has now moved into the 13th spot. Compliments of Joe Hollis' AI car. So Canville Hoon and Ryan Horan have pulled away from Luis Wassman, who was in 3rd. Wassman was getting some pressure from Jared Fosbury, but it looks like Wassman's been able to gap him. Fosbury falling under pressure of Bjorn Langfeld. And we've got yellow flag Sector 1, and this is, it's Harry Cooper, unfortunately. It looks like he's had contact with Diego, and Harry Cooper's left front wing is completely destroyed. So he moved up to the 13th spot. Looks like he's had some, and Harry Cooper has rage quit. He's left the session, unfortunately for him, so no more Harry Cooper. And we've got drivers dropping out of this race left and right here after this restart. We go back to the battle we've got 2 battles on track for the lead here. We've got 1 for the lead, yellow flag in Sector 2. Looks like that might be one of the McLarens. It's possibly Diego. We're watching this battle for the lead. This is Canville Hoon leading Ryan Horan, and then we've got Luis Wassman. And Jared Fosbury's now closed that gap back up to Wassman. And Wassman is trying to hold off Jared Fosbury and T. Jonas. And now Sean O'Sullivan has joined us as well, along with Maxie. So we got a 4-car train once again for the 3rd spot. Race control says the DRS is enabled, and Wassman has been able to pull away from Fosbury. Fosbury is going to come under threat now. T. Jonas to the inside. Fosbury is going to try and hold that inside line. And I'm sorry, T. Jonas was going to the outside, and they're side by side heading through that corner. And Jonas makes the move and takes the 4th spot away from Jared Fosbury. And here comes O'Sullivan. But Fosbury does not want to give up that spot that easily. And we've got a yellow flag Sector 1, and we've got a couple of cars that have collided. Looks like that's Nelson Santos into the wall with Jamie Griffiths. And once again, that is 3 laps in a row. It seems like Griffiths has had an issue. And he also had that collision, I think, under... now that was Diego that had that issue under the safety car. So Jamie Griffiths having a terrible race. It seems to be a lot of silly mistakes going on here after the safety car, and Joe Hollis has rejoined the session, so Hollis is having some internet issues. Diego is now into the pits in the 18th spot. And look at this 4-car train. We've got Wassman, Jonas, Fosbury, O'Sullivan, Maxey, and Mumford is now joining this battle as well. So really interesting. You can see the difference in setups and driving styles between these guys. Luis Wassman is really fast between this last corner here and Sector 1, but he loses a lot of time in Sector 2. Fosbury seems to struggle a little bit coming out of that last corner, but he's very quick in the Sector 2 section of the track. So they get a little bit spread out, and Harry Cooper has rejoined the session. So maybe Harry Cooper did not rage quit, possibly having internet issues. And a yellow flag Sector 1 again. And that is going to be, looks like that's one of the racing points No, was that Luis Wassman? I'm sorry, that was not Wassman. That was Ken Vilhoen. And he's got wing damage on the left front. Looks like he might have gotten a little help there, spinning in the car almost again. So Ken Vilhoen, I wasn't watching the battle for the lead. I don't know if there was contact between him and Ryan Herren. But now Vilhoen has dropped all the way down to the 12th spot, and he's going to have to pit for a new wing. Ryan Herren out in front by 5 seconds almost over T. Jonas. So Jonas is going to try and start closing that gap. Meanwhile, Luis Wassman holding back a pack of cars, and here comes Fosbury with the DRS slot open to the inside at the end of this backstretch. Hard on the brakes. Wassman's going to try the crossover move, and he's going to be able to take it. And look at this. Fosbury's going to lose out 2 spots on that. O'Sullivan gets through to snag the 4th spot. So Fosbury loses 2 spots in one corner because he outbraked himself heading into that hard left-hander at the end of the backstretch. So Wassman retakes the 3rd spot. O'Sullivan's going to be all over the back of him, and Ryan Herren just ran the fastest lap of the race at a 1:21.602. And here comes O'Sullivan, and Wassman tries to take the defensive line, but the DRS slot open on O'Sullivan's Red Bull. And then you see the Williams in the background. That is that Maxey trying to make a move? That's Maxey trying to make a move. And Kevin Harrison has quietly worked his way into the 6th spot and is now a part of this 4-car battle. Ken Vilhoen has just dived into the pits. He's switching over to another set of hards. Harry Cooper gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane, and we see Wassman now trying to get around Fosbury. And this is the section of the track that Fosbury is very quick. He's very good at coming through that, the S's there up the hill. It's a good run coming out of here. He's going to have the DRS advantage. And once again, he's going to dive to the inside. Looks like he tried to bait him going to the outside. Can he not outbrake himself this time? And yes, he hits his braking marks. Wassman's going to lose out on the position. Meanwhile, you've got the Toro Rosso of Maxey and Thomas Mumford trying to find a way around Maxey, but Maxey was able to hold them off. And look at this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-car train. 6 cars fighting for every spot between 4th and 10th. Actually, I should say 4th through 9th. And Andre Yamil manages to get the DRS slot open and goes all the way to the inside to find his way around Thomas Mumford to pick up that 8th spot. Luis Wassman, and Thomas Mumford just picked up a 3-second time penalty, so loses the spot and gets penalized for it heading into turn 1. Now, Fosbury's been able to gap Wassman by a little bit, almost a second. Sean O'Sullivan was able to pull away from this battle. So O'Sullivan has got a almost 2-second gap over Jared Fosbury in 4th. Wassman now is coming under threat from this raging pack of cars behind him. Kevin Harrison in the 6th spot. And we are now halfway through this race. And Harrison, he's going to have the DRS slot open. I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move. It looks like he thought about it. Tucks back in line. Whoa, and a big move there by the Williams. That was Maxey, and that was a bold move that was never going to work. Maxey's into the wall. And it's yellow flag sector 2 and 3. That is for Maxey, and he is now, looks like he's going to try and crash himself out, and that is frowned upon by the league. If you're going to retire your car, we certainly appreciate you retiring your car in the pit lanes. So he may get a post-race penalty for that, and now the safety car is out once again because of Maxey and purposely crashing out of this race. So a very disappointing turn of events for Maxey, and very disappointing, and a drive-through penalty for Diego for speeding under the safety car. And I do want to put some emphasis on that. That is very much frowned upon in this league. Please, 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 for future reference, if you're going to retire or rage quit, do it in the pit lane where you do not cause an on-track issue like you have done. So once again, we have the safety car out for Maxey purposely crashing his car out after really ruining his own race. He went into that corner, he had the DRS slot open, and he just blew the braking point trying to make a pass and made contact, and really it's of his own fault that happened. We're running along with Ryan Herren, and the safety car is going to pick him up here at the top of the hill. So get a little bit of a grid reset here under the safety car conditions. See if anybody pits. We do have some guys in the back there pitting to switch over to medium tires. Probably wouldn't be too bad of a strategy. Looks like Harry Cooper. And here comes Horan. He's going to dive into the pits and take advantage of this. Let's see if he switches over to the medium tires. So what a crazy race this has been so far. I want to appreciate everybody staying tuned into this. And Sean O'Sullivan picks up a 5-second time penalty, speeding into the pit lane. So, we've got some guys diving into the pits, switching over to the medium tires. Andre Yamil has stayed out on his hards. He's going to run them to the end, I would imagine. And that is going to hand him the lead. Now, Ryan Horan, who was your leader, and obviously very fast on the hard tires, he's going to be running in the second spot. See what we can make happen here. Looks like T. Jonas has come out of the pits in third. O'Sullivan had that 5-second time penalty that will have to be served. He's in the fourth spot. Kevin Harrison is now up to fifth, very quietly and methodically working his way through the field. Jared Fosbury has fallen back to sixth. He's got his teammate right behind him, Paco Suarez, in seventh. Thomas Mumford is up to eighth. Joe Hollis, who had an internet issue early on, lost some spots, has now worked his way back into ninth. And Luis Wassman, who we saw battling it out for the third spot, is now in 10th. Nelson Santos is into 11th. Jamie Griffiths, who's had a pretty rough race during that second stint after the first safety car, into 12th. And we saw Cam Vilhoun, who was leading this race, and we missed the pass for the lead. He had it off. Don't know if there was contact between him and Ryan Horan, but he's in the 13th spot. Diego Valesco is having a pretty rough go of it down in 14th. Bjorn Langfell is in 15th. Storm, who has been able to remain out of trouble with any of the other drivers on track, is in the 15th spot. Harry Cooper running in 17th. And we've got Shay Fox on the live chat. Good to hear from our buddy Shay. Do miss him racing in F2. He's cheering on Ryan Horan, currently in the second spot. And Shay didn't make the race for HTARL yesterday, where they ran at Hockenheim. So we wait for and this is of no surprise, we wait for the Ferrari of Storm and Harry Cooper in the Alfa Romeo to join up to this pack. So, been a very interesting race. Looks like we'll have at least one more, maybe two more laps under the yellow flag in this full course caution. So Andre Yamil, who a couple weeks ago was racing in a startup league called GTR Racing League, started by a driver in Kenya, Gift Bichitero, who also happens to race in SRL. Andre Yamil found himself racing there a couple weeks ago, decided to make the jump to IRL, where he was quick enough to qualify for F2, and he's now finding himself leading in F2 race. And Nelson Santos picks up a 5-second time penalty for exceeding the track limits under the safety car conditions, and the safety car is going to be coming in this lap. So got a few cars that are fairly well separated. You've got this gaggle of 3 cars back here. These guys, oh, and look at this, Diego picks up a 10-second time penalty under safety car. And he tries desperately to join up to the rest of the pack. So Andre Yamil leading the way under the safety car. He's got the very fast Ryan Horan behind him, especially with T. Jonas behind him. Sean O'Sullivan has proved to be pretty quick today as well. And it looks like we are back to green flag racing. Green, green, green. And a good jump for Andre Yamil. It looks like Jonas is going to try and make a move. I thought about making a move on Horan heading into turn 1, and now he's going to try and... Look, Jamie Griffiths picks up a 3-second time penalty for another corner cut. Yellow flag, sector 1. How much you want to bet that's Jamie once again? And it looks like Jamie's had some contact, and that is with Storm and Harry Cooper. It looks like Sean O'Sullivan is making a move, trying to get around T. Jonas on the outside. And Jonas is going to push him a little wide coming out of that corner. They're side by side. It's not going to work heading into the S's. It's going to be very tight through here. And he manages to get around him. Power move on the outside by O'Sullivan to take third spot from T. Jonas. That was some very tight racing. And now you see them fan out a little bit down this backstretch. Jared Fosbury peeking out, thought about making a move, dives back in line. And Andre Yamil trying to hold off Ryan Herren. Herren's going to be the faster driver. He's on the faster tires. We'll see how difficult. Oh, and Harry Cooper has left the session. And possibly internet issues again. Possibly a rage quit. We never know. Harry Cooper. And it looks like Storm has DNF from the session. Yellow flag, Sector 3. And Diego picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple corner cuts. And Harry Cooper, who just left the session, also just ran the fastest lap of the race. And looks like Diego is going to retire from this race. Looks like he's done the right thing and pulled his car into the pits to do that. Storm has left the session. And Paco Suarez looks like he's obviously had an issue. He's all the way down in 15th spot. So right now, yellow flag, Sector 1. Not sure who that's for. That is going to be for, is that Griffiths again? Yellow flag, Sector 1. Oh, it looks like we've had a collision. This is Langfell and Canville Hoon. Oh, we've got cars all over the place. Nelson Santos, Canville Hoon, top of the hill. And we've got another car off. And we've got a car parked at the Sector 2 area. Lots of... All right, so let's get out of that. There's lots of confusion going on. It looks like that was Diego's car. Looks like Diego retired from the session. The car came back out of the pits, and the car is now gone. So, Luis Wassman making a move on Thomas Mumford. Oh, Mumford gives him the chrome horn. We pick this battle up. So Wassman's going to move up into the 7th spot. And the battle for the lead now is on. Andre Yamil's done a very good job making his car very wide, very difficult to get around. And look at this, he gets a good run coming out of that corner. Ryan Herren trying to find a way around Andre Yamil's Haas. And Andre looks like he's struggling with tire grip a little bit. His car's running a little wide here and there. I don't know if he's trying to take alternate lines and try and make the car as wide as possible. Here comes Ryan Herren to the inside. And Andre's not going to be able to hold him off. And Harry Cooper has rejoined the session. So Harry Cooper having some internet issues, which has really cost him. He's currently running in the 11th spot. So Ryan Herren retakes the lead, and Andre Yamil is now going to come under pressure from Sean O'Sullivan in the Red Bull. And Ryan Herren just ran the fastest lap of the race. O'Sullivan's got the DRS slot open. He's not going to be close enough to Yamil to make a pass here at the end of the turn 1. Meanwhile, Kevin Harrison looking to make a move on T. Jonas. 10 laps to go in what has been a fairly chaotic Spanish Grand Prix. Harrison started deep in the field, down to the 16th spot. He's worked his way methodically and strategically up into 5th. We started with 20 cars. Dan Thompson was the first one out, followed by Sam Thompson, no relation. Maxie is out as well. Storm and Diego Valesco just retired from the session. Harry Cooper, who we've been trying to keep track of, has had some internet issues along with Joe Hollis. Now, Hollis is currently running in the 8th spot. Harry Cooper running in the 11th spot. Jimmy Griffiths has had a abysmal race. running down in the 12th spot. Paco Suarez having difficulties as well. And Ryan continues to run fastest lap after fastest lap, 1:27.70, so he wants to put his stamp on this race. Andre Yamil currently hanging on to the second spot. O'Sullivan not able to get close enough under the DRS. And Yamil holding up O'Sullivan, who's about a half second behind him. Now a half second behind O'Sullivan. And we got a yellow flag, sector 1. That is Thomas Mumford. Looks like he's got some wing damage. He's going to let the McLaren go by. And the right front end plate is gone. And there goes Canville Hoon, so he'll pick up an extra spot. So Thomas Mumford struggling today. A lot of incidents down in the turn 1-2 sections. That's definitely been Calamity Corner. Some guys maybe trying to make some dive bomb moves going in there. So Jamie Griffiths had some issues there. Looks like Jared Fosbury trying to battle it out with Kevin Harrison. And now Ryan Horen's pulled out to a 2+ second gap over Andre Yamil, who is currently holding off a train of cars for the second spot. Great job by Andre holding everybody off O'Sullivan. See if O'Sullivan can get a good run coming out of the corner. DRS slot open for O'Sullivan. He's got a good run coming down to the end of the front straightaway. Yamil's got the more preferred line. He's going to try and take that defensive line away. And he's going to hang on to that spot. O'Sullivan's going to try and go around the outside. And Yamil is doing a great job defending his spot, making that car as wide as possible. It looked like Jonas almost ran a little wide there. And Thomas Mumford has retired from the session. Yellow flag, sector 3. And it looks like that is actually Mumford is pulled into the pits to retire the car. So Mumford doing the right thing. We certainly appreciate that. And Jamie Griffiths has officially left the session. His car is currently running in the 11th spot, so possible rage quit, possible internet issue for him as well. And here we've got Kevin Harrison, who's finally worked his way into the 4th spot. He just got around T. Jonas. He'd been looking to make that move for a long time now. And Sean O'Sullivan still trying to find a way around Andre Yamil. We've got this 5-car train here. And again, O'Sullivan with the DRS advantage is going to be trying to make a move. Looks like he's going to be close enough to do it this time. He's going to be able to make the pass heading down into turn 1. But Yamil, again, hard and late on the brakes. And around the outside, he's going to try and hang on to that spot. And great defending by Andre Yamil. But here comes O'Sullivan, does the crossover move back to the inside. And then they're side by side. And now O'Sullivan's finally going to have the move. But again, Yamil's going to try to do a crossover, and they're side-by-side coming out of that corner. Yamil trying to hang on to that spot, hard on the binders, but it looks like O'Sullivan's finally going to be able to get that move done and get around Andre Yamil, but it doesn't look like Yamil is done. And now he's going to come under pressure from Kevin Harrison, and Harrison's got T. Jonas all over his gearbox, and Jamie Griffiths has rejoined the session as we try to keep up what's going on there. And look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars, 6 cars in a train. And if these guys aren't careful, it could end in tears for one of these drivers. Sean O'Sullivan fought very hard, lap after lap after lap. Andre Yamil made that car as wide as possible. Great defensive driving on Andre's part. He's still hanging on to that 3rd spot, but now Andre's going to have the DRS advantage. Can he take that spot back from O'Sullivan? And while all that's happening, here comes Kevin Harrison. And Harrison's going to be looking to make a move on Yamil heading down into turn 1. And Yamil finds himself in a very precarious spot where he's trying to attack O'Sullivan to get the 2nd spot back, but still has to defend the hard-charging Kevin Harrison in 4th. Meanwhile, Canville Hoon has just made a move on Jamie Griffiths to get around him, so that puts Canville Hoon back into the points. A rough day for him for sure. And it looks like O'Sullivan is able to pull out a couple of car lengths now over Andre Yamil. And Yamil is starting to feel the pressure from Kevin Harrison. And Harrison is going to have the DRS advantage. Well, so will Andre. They're both within DRS range, but Harrison much closer to Yamil than Yamil is to O'Sullivan. It's a very short backstretch. You don't have a lot of time to try and get that done. The best overtaking opportunities, obviously, heading into turn 1. Oh, and look at this. Harrison with a little bit of a mistake there. T. Jonas almost taking advantage of it. Luis Wassman now trying to get the inside of Jonas. And Paco Suarez just picked up a 3-second time penalty, and now 3rd, 4th, and 5th separated a little bit now. A few car lengths in between everybody. Harrison a little too far back to make a move. And it doesn't look like anybody's going to make a move going into turn 1 this time, and the laps are winding down. Meanwhile, Ryan Horan is out in front by 5 seconds over Sean O'Sullivan, who still has Andre Yamil within the DRS range, so Yamil's not completely done with that battle. Not sure that he's going to be able to catch up. Yellow flag, sector 3, and it looks like that might be Paco Suarez. And yes, it is Suarez. Looks like he's lost the car coming out of the last corner, so Suarez's day continues to not go his way. O'Sullivan has now been able to gap Yamil just a little bit. Yamil still trying to fight back, though. You know, here comes Luis Wassman, though. Luis Wassman all over the back of T. Jonas. So Racing Point, they kept their 100% pole percentage alive heading into this race with Luis Wassman taking pole, but the race has not gone their way. A little bit of contact. Thomas Mumford has officially left the session. But they've both had a little bit of contact and have fallen through the field quite a bit. Ken Vilhuna, obviously, and Paco Suarez has officially retired from the session, and we've got a yellow flag. Safety car, and Thomas Mumford is gone. We'll see if we can pick up where Paco Suarez looks like he's gone off, and hard to say. That's an odd place to crash a car. Not sure if that was on purpose or not. And safety car, 3 laps remaining in this race, and this is kind of a weird situation. Now, I've been told that the safety car in this game, how do I want to put it? It's to my understanding, Codemasters has coded the safety car to go in with 3 laps remaining. But now that we have 3 laps remaining in the race, I'm not sure how this would work. I haven't run into this situation. So this is very interesting. So Ryan Horan, who has been dominating this race for quite some time now, since the second safety car. Looks like he's trying to put some heat into the rear tires. He is your leader. He's got Sean O'Sullivan is lined up in the second spot with Andre Yamil, who's done a fantastic job on some very old hard tires. 22 laps on those hards. You see, that's twice as many laps as anybody else in the medium, so a fantastic job by Andre Yamil to lead a little bit of this race and hang on to the second spot for a long time, and now currently in third. Kevin Harrison worked his way up into fourth. T. Jonas is going to be in fifth. Luis Wassman is sixth. Now, Joe Hollis, looks like Jared Fosbury pits, and it's obviously going to switch over to the soft tires. Now, that is probably... Looks like a lot of guys are going to switch over to the soft tires, or already have switched over to the soft tires. So Jared Fosbury might be looking to try and just maybe finish in the points a little bit, maybe run fastest lap to get that bonus point. And we've got Fun Oreo on Anthony Johnson on the live chat. And yes, this is going to be a sprint to the finish. Fosbury going to maybe try and snatch that fastest lap, see if he can get that bonus point. Canville Hood has pitted as well. He's going to switch over to a fresh set of softs. So that switches up the running order just a little bit. Joe Hollis, I think is where we left off, is in 7th. Bjorn Langfell in 8th. We saw Fosbury pit for a fresh set of softs in 9th. Jamie Griffiths, with all the problems that he's had today, especially in the second stint, has managed to work his way into the points in 10th. Harry Cooper is up to 11th. Canville Hoon, who's had an up-and-down day, is in 12th. And Nelson Santos, whose car is going AI, is currently 13th. The safety car is going to be in this lap. And you see the Toro Rosso there. That is Nelson Santos. That is an AI car. It's a lap down. So Sean O'Sullivan, unfortunately, I don't know if he can go through that. I mean, he can go through that car, obviously. I don't know if he can do it under the safety car. So it looks like we're going to get ourselves a good old-fashioned NASCAR green-white checker. So, oh, and there's a little bit of contact there from Yamil into the back of O'Sullivan, and that was from Ryan Horan doing a classic Lewis Hamilton go, stop, go, which I don't necessarily agree with. And that's too bad for Yamil. Looks like he's going to lose out here. Kevin Harrison to the inside, which is going to become the outside, and Harrison has now worked his way into a podium spot. Andre Yamil's obviously got wing damage, and he's going to fall through the field. Here comes T. Jonas on the inside. And Yamil's going to try to make that car as wide as possible. There's a whole gaggle of cars. This is going to end in tears for somebody. You can't go 3 wide in this corner. Yamil's not giving up that position. Joe Hollis trying to work his way around the far outside of this. And Jonas holding off Yamil. And look at this gaggle of cars right here. And Yamil struggling with the front grip. He's going to get some aero wash off of the cars in front of him as well. Luis Wassman's going to try and make a move. Wassman to the outside, hard onto the brakes. Now, Yamil's going to get pushed outside a little bit from the aero wash. And again, Wassman gets this position. And we get yellow flag sector 3. And it looks like that might have been Yamil who might have gotten a little bit of help. And we knew that was going to fall apart for him when he had that front end damage, that wing end plate gone. So final lap of this race, Ryan Horan is your leader. Sean O'Sullivan is in second. Kevin Harrison works his way into the 3rd spot. T. Jonas is in 4th. Luis Wassman works his way into 5th. And Harry Cooper just ran the fastest lap of this race at a 1:20.118. Unfortunately, he is all the way down to the 11th spot. Jared Fosbury is getting passed now by, this is a 3-car battle. This is Bjorn Langfeld. Oh, and Langfeld makes contact, and he goes around, and Jamie Griffiths unfortunately hits him in the side pod. And here comes, now this is Yamil taking the 8th spot back. What a crazy race. We're going to pick up Ryan Horan coming down the backstretch for the last time. He's run a fantastic race. This race has been chaotic, and Andre Yamil still battling it out. Jamie Griffiths is going to go around him for the 8th spot, and Griffiths, we just saw, had that contact with Bjorn Langfeld. Langfeld looks like he might have clipped Jared Fosbury's right rear tire, but here comes Ryan Horan to come across the line. Sean O'Sullivan behind him, and because of time penalties now, Kevin Harrison picks up the 2nd spot. T. Jonas, and look at this, Sean O'Sullivan had a bunch of time, well, he had that 5-second time penalty. This is going to drop him through the field. T. Jonas is going to keep his podium finishes at 1,000%. That's 3 races, 3 podiums for him. Luis Wassman manages to get up into 4th. Jared Fosbury into 5th. Joe Hollis is 6th. Sean O'Sullivan, who had that 5-second time penalty, going to come across the line in the 7th spot. What a crazy finish to this race. And O'Sullivan, who put in a good effort, unfortunately, that safety car did him no justice here at the end, as he was so close together with all the other front runners. So there is Ryan Horan. And we will get our unofficial results here in a second. Amazing run by Kevin Harrison, going to show why he is defending F2 champion as his 2nd podium in a row after winning last race. So here are the unofficial results for round 3 of IRL F2 racing. Ryan Horan walks away with the win. Kevin Harrison is 2nd. T. Jonas is 3rd. Luis Wassman comes home 4th. Jared Fosbury 5th. Joe Hollis is 6th. Sean O'Sullivan is 7th. Bjorn Langfeld is 8th. Jamie Griffiths had an up-and-down day, manages to get a couple points on the board. Andre Yamil coming home 10th. Harry Cooper credited with 11th. Canville Hood, who started on pole, started in the 3rd spot, is the 12th. Nelson Santos 13th. Paco Suarez is 14th, and that is the start of the DNFs. Paco Suarez, Thomas Mumford, Diego Valesco 16th, Storm is 17th, Maxie 18th, Sam Thompson and Dan Thompson, no relation, 19th and 20th, all DNFs. So unbelievable run to the finish, and we will try and get those top 3 in here for an interview. And I don't think I'm friends with everybody, unfortunately. In fact, I know I'm not. That, and I've got a lot of people to go through in order to get them in here. Oh my. Doesn't look like I'm friends with anybody. I'll probably have to change that. Let's see if I can get somebody in here that is friends with me that could invite them. Where is... We'll get Jared in here. We'll see if I can get Jared in here to invite the top 3 into... Oh, here's T. Jonas. I got a friend request from him, so maybe I'll be able to... And we'll add him to friends. He's IRL. And then I'll be able to get him in here for an interview. And there's Jared. Jared, I need help with the invites. I did just great question. I don't remember. It was Ryan, and then Kevin Harrison, and then T. Jonas. And I could invite him. He just sent me a friend request, so.
For some reason, my custom list is playing up.
So I need Kevin and Ryan, who both ran a fantastic race, and you finally finishing a race in the points, so we can talk to you a little bit for sure. 2 DNFs in a row, finally able to put some points on the board. I'm sure your race didn't go exactly how you wanted to. A number of safety cars today that I think affected your strategy, but how'd your race go for you all in all, finally finishing one this season?
Well, it's good to get some points on the board. I had a good qualified 3rd, could have got 2nd, but Louis top pole. And then for some reason, the mediums didn't feel that great, and Cam got past me. And then when the safety car came out, I thought, well, there's 14, 15 laps, I can go hards, which I did, which was an alright strategy. And then the 2nd safety car ruined it, and I chose to go mediums, try them to the end. And then the 3rd safety car went on soft, risk a strategy, and then yet again, Lux just hits Jamil into me and causes me wing damage, which is annoying because I could have got a lot higher possibly in the finishing order. I had the pace and everything, but it just is what it is. At the end of the day, it happens, it's racing. I'm not going to be too bitter. I got some points, so yeah, that's it really.
And I do want to talk to you about that 2nd safety car from an administrative standpoint. And I mentioned this in the live stream, but Maxie had crashed his car out on purpose to retire from the session.
Right.
I'm fairly confident that's frowned upon in this league, if I'm correct.
That will be reported. We'll have a look at stream and everything and investigate that, because a fellow F1 driver did that on F1, so, and that's been reported, I believe. But yeah, that should be looked into.
And obviously, as you said, that 2nd safety car did affect your race, and I'm sure you're not the only one whose race was affected by that. And see if I can get... I see T. Jonas is in here with us. Halvor keeping your podium finishes at 1,000%. That's 3 races where you finished on the podium. A little bit of a mess there towards the end, though. How'd your race go for? How'd you fare out and get that podium from everybody?
It was about the penalties, I think. I knew that one guy ahead had penalties, and I knew that he was lagging a lot, so it's hard to get past him. So he would just hold up the rest of the pack, really. Safety cars, not really all that happy about them, but I managed to hold on to P3 in the end, so I'm quite happy about that.
And it looks like you have now solidified yourself as one of the championship frontrunners with another podium. Obviously, you and Kevin Harrison now going to be, who we do have Kevin Harrison joining us now, but you and Kevin are starting to separate yourselves from the rest of the group as the two championship frontrunners. So moving forward, do you think you can keep this consecutive podium finishes alive heading into the next round?
Well, we'll see. I'm gonna try my best and see where that will put me in the end, and I'm sure Kevin will and I will have a great fight, and probably some other one to join in on the battle as well.
And speaking of Kevin, we do have him with us now. Kevin, congratulations on finishing second today in what turned out to be a fairly hectic race. Once again, you proved that you are the master of the alternate race strategy. Started deep in the field and worked your way forward. Again, was that on purpose? Do you purposely qualify that deep on the field?
Well, I mean, for Spain, it was a bit different. I mean, in Australia and Bahrain, I went with mediums, which was standard kind of tire. But here, seeing what I did last season and also what Matthew did in F1 yesterday, it just seemed like the better strategy to be on. Safety car obviously helped me a lot because, I mean, at the start, 1 second I was behind TJ, and the next second, when I got past two cars that were going pretty slowly, both had damage. Next thing you know, he was like 5 seconds ahead of me, and I was a bit annoyed because I really wanted to get behind TJ and pass him because obviously he's leading the championship. So, overall my race, I have to say it was quite lucky because I mean, given the circumstances, if there was no safety car, I don't think I would have been anywhere near the front. I probably would have got like a low top 10 finish. So yeah, the safety car helped a lot, and also in the second safety car, I think it was, I pit for mediums and then straight back onto hards because I saw it's a better strategy at the time. Obviously, if I went mediums, maybe medium would have been better because I had the other safety car, but you can't predict that.
Well, I mean, a good result nonetheless, and I mean, obviously we talked about just a second ago, you and T. Jonas have now started to separate yourselves as the two championship contenders. So you find yourself in a very similar situation as last year. How do you think that's going to fare out moving forward? Are you going to be able to keep this type of pace up like you did last season?
I'm certainly going to do my best to be up there to try and eat into his gap. I think it's a 10-point gap though, right now, so it is pretty close, and one race could change that, or on the flip side, I could crush next race and then he could win. So we'll see what happens, but I think it's going to be a good fight.
Now, speaking of that fight, now, is there any more pressure, and all three of you could answer this, is there any more pressure on you drivers since this is a shortened schedule for Season 7 as we try to prepare for F1 2020? Does that add a little bit more pressure to you guys to try and make those points finishes or maximize your strategies?
I'll go first then. It depends really. One guy could crash out one race and then the championship could be wide open. So it's, it is what it is. Every race, Tijonis could win it by dominance, which I hope he does. No offense, Kevin. I want the fellow Norwegian to do well. He's got a lot of pace on him. But Kevin as well, he's got a lot of pace. So anything can happen. Like, I'm not going to be in the championship fight because I just don't feel like I've got the pace this season. As I said last season, I didn't feel confident at the end. Still don't feel confident. But after this season or what happens in the future, I'll be going wheel, so my pace may be a bit low for a couple of seasons. So anything can happen in the short season.
And yeah, talking about the pressure, I think that's why we do it. And the more pressure, the more fun it is. And if we can race around the track with just the pulse just banging in my veins, I feel like then this is just a success. And that's what so fun about the league racing and fighting for each point and yeah, having like a rivalry. So it's no more fun than that.
Yeah, my thoughts on the short season. Every point counts, obviously, because like if you crash one race, there's less races to catch up. So everything counts. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Every point counts. You gotta be careful. I mean, I went so slow. For example, today in Spain, at the start I went so slow because like I didn't want damage. Like I had so many close calls. But yeah, you got to be careful. You got to make sure you're not crashing and picking up the points wherever you can. Yeah.
Well, you certainly maximized today with you guys finishing on the podium. Doesn't look like we're going to get Ryan in here for an interview, but congratulations to him and congratulations to you guys. And obviously, congratulations to Jared for finishing the race. I know it's been a rough start to your season 3 campaign here in F2, but congratulations on scoring some points. And Jared, what is the next race on the schedule?
It's the famous Monaco, which me and Kevin and a few others are looking forward to. There's no Nexus Iceman in it now.
Nope,
So
not a bit.
It's,
Not a bit.
It's going to be
Don't
close.
confuse that. I might not race. Go away.
But yeah, it is Monaco next week, which all was hopefully looking forward to. It is probably a boring track to race, but it's fun to drive.
Bit of rain.
Yeah, a bit of rain possibly. There could be 3 cars into the wall, and you never know. Paco Suarez could win the race.
That being said, Monaco last season, Kevin, you did finish second at Monaco. Your teammate at the time, Jack Yates, walked away with the win. So you did have pole there last year. So it doesn't seem like it's that bad of a track for you, even though it sounds like you don't like it very much.
I'd say I got it mainly because of the Inter's conditions. I don't think I would have been so close to the front if it weren't for that. I mean, if quali in the race were just completely Inters, sign me up.
And to be fair, Jared, you did finish 4th there last year, so hopefully you'll be able to pull another points finish out of that. So I think on that note, we'll wrap this up, guys. I want to appreciate everybody tuning into the live stream and playing along in the live chat. Helen was with us the whole time. Anthony Johnson was with us for a little while. Still trying to get him back in a car. So, Anthony, hit me up when you want to get back in a car, and we'll get you in one. And guys, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. Check us out online. We've got a Twitter handle. What's the Twitter handle, Jared?
IRL, I think let's go F1, but it's also on the YouTube banner. If you want to go on the YouTube channel, it is on the bottom right or top right of the banner. And if you do want to sign up, the sign up
F1_IRL. Yeah.
F1_@IRL. So check us out on Twitter. Like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channels. Be sure to get caught up on all of the previous races and the highlight videos. And guys, we look forward to doing this again next week, same time at Monaco. So be sure to tune in then. We'll see everybody at the next round.